Well, it's been a busy week. I hope that you have been safe from these storms that have been coming through. I know many of you are all across the United States who watch these videos. I'm thankful for that, but I hope that you've been kept safe from the storms and that you are doing well. Now, this past Friday, we had the Mule Day Auctioneer Contest, and that was an absolutely phenomenal event. I always love getting to go to that. Of course, I'm a past champion of the Mule Day Contest, and this year 4 past champions were there, one of which was a judge. And the other 3, we got a little time behind the microphone there to showcase our talents and to raise a little money for the Columbia Breakfast Rotary Club. Incredible organization, and I'm very happy and blessed to be considered a small part of what they do with that organization. Congratulations to Andy Baumeister for taking home first place in that contest. Got to meet Andy just very briefly. I wish I'd had a little bit more time to spend with him. Seems like a phenomenal guy, and I'm thankful for that. We need more people like that in this industry. Just some genuine, humble, down-to-earth guys. Proud of Andy. Congratulations on your first place. Second place went to Chris Pinard. Chris got second place last year as well. Chris, phenomenal bid caller, and I know that it was only had to be in a couple of points or maybe even a half a point that separated first from second place. Chris does a phenomenal job, and I'm going to be rooting for both of those guys and several others here in June at the WLAC contest. Third place, rounding it out, was Drew Williams. Good buddy. He's been on our podcast before. Drew had a flawless preliminary round. Fantastic. And his final round was, in my opinion, just as good. Drew did a great job, and I'm very, very proud of the good work that those guys have done. And then on to the top 5 and the top 10, and every single contestant that was there. A great contest. In my opinion, you're not going to find many that are better, and you're not going to find many contest organizers who care as much as the Columbia Breakfast Rotary Club, Eddie Abels, Eddie Allred, and Daryl Alshire. Phenomenal, phenomenal contest. I encourage anyone who wants to compete in Mule Day. Now, this week it has been really busy, and I've been spending the week coaching several people, and this typically happens after a contest. People reach out and say, hey, what could I have done better? And I'm always willing to give my opinion. So I want to give you a couple of things to keep in mind here as we think about growing in our bid calling development. And some of these are going to be repetitive from what I've said before, but I feel like if I have to keep repeating them, I probably need to repeat them because people aren't getting it. So number 1 is, when we have opportunity to be behind the microphone and there are people around listening to us, obviously in a live bid calling setting, if we've just gotten our license, usually some of those people are going to be our family. They're going to be our sons, our daughters, our wives, our husbands, whatever your relationship is, grandparents and so forth, friends. And after the sale, most of what they tell you is going to be encouraging. Sometimes though, they're going to say things like, well, you weren't fast enough, or I couldn't understand you, or you just seem nervous. Those things can be helpful because we want our audience to know what it is we're saying and communicating. But let me give this piece of advice. Don't take advice concerning your auction chant from people who don't have an auction chant. So it's a really hard thing, especially for those of us who are words of affirmation kind of people. We want to hear that we did a good job, and we want people to be proud of us. I'm that kind of person. It's very easy for us to have someone come up who knows nothing about the auction industry and say, boy, you just weren't going fast enough. So be careful about who you take advice from, or at least take some of this advice with a grain of salt. I like to say, eat the meat and spit out the bones. Advice number 2 is along those same lines. Remember, rhythm is speed. Speed is not rhythm. So there are a lot of guys who can go really, really fast, but you can't understand what they're saying, and they're hard to listen to. There are other guys, I think particularly about Ralph Wade. Ralph Wade does not have a fast chant, but he is so rhythmic. It's like a yo-yo bouncing up and down on the string, and it's so pleasurable to listen to. You're always in tune to what Ralph Wade has to say. So remember, going fast is never the goal of the auctioneer. Maintaining communication is. Number 3, be careful about who you criticize in public. This is especially true after contests. It's a temptation, especially if we didn't do as well as we thought we should have or did, to run around and badmouth people. And I'm not saying that this happened. I'm just saying this tends to be on my mind after contests. Be careful about who you criticize in public. Now, I understand sometimes people make you mad and sometimes you need to blow off steam, but I want to encourage you that, first of all, you spend time in silence and meditation before you talk about something, that you pray about it, that you try to forgive somebody if they do something to make you upset, and then you just move on. If you need to vent to somebody about it, make sure that it's private, make sure that person's someone you can trust. But it really hurts me whenever I see auctioneers bad-mouthing other auctioneers, or when I go to a contest and hear people fuss about the contest. And again, I'm not saying that happened, I'm just saying that it tends to happen. So be careful about who you criticize in public. And that leads me to number 4, and this will be the end of the video today. Have people in your corner that you can go to, that you can call, that can give you tips, that can give you constructive criticism, and that are there to genuinely help you. Fortunately for me, I have several people like that, my dad being one, my boss in the auction business being another, some close friends that I work with that I know that I can call and get their opinion on. Again, eat the meat, spit out the bones. They're not always going to tell you the things that you agree with, but most of the time what they tell you is going to be good. So surround yourself with people who are there to build you up and are there to encourage you. That's what this platform, this Better Bid Calling thing is all about. At the end of the day, you guys may not learn the first thing about bid calling, which would be horrible because that's what I've designed this for. But I hope that at the end of the day, you can say, you know what, I know that if I called Joshua, he would shoot me honest and that he wants the best for me. That's what I want for you guys, and I hope that's what you guys want for me. Hey, I'm proud of you. I'm looking forward to the next contest that comes up. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm looking forward to it and looking forward to helping you develop your auction chant and your career as an auctioneer. Guys, I'll see you later.